Today we're doing Making Connections Text the World. Check out my other two videos, Text to Self and Text to Text. When I read a book, making connections to a text is a great strategy to help me understand what I read. I use my background knowledge, also known as schema, to help me understand what I read. When I'm reading a book, I am connecting the text to my life experiences, I am connecting the text to the books I have read, and I am connecting the text to an event in the past, present, and future around the world. Try to compare the similarities and contrast the differences to the books you read, life experiences, and events from the past, present, future, and around the world. Today we focus on text to world. When I read a book, the text reminds me of what I read on my iPad, iPhone, or the news I watch on TV. I'm connecting the text to the event in the past, present, and future around the world. Here are two examples. The first example is non-fiction articles, an article about protecting endangered animals. I recently read about an article about a bipedal robot. The second example, on the other hand, is Stay by Bobby Pyron. Let's see the first example. I am connecting between a text and a recent event in the world, not a non-fiction article about protecting endangered animals. An article about protecting endangered animals. Humans can decrease the population of animal species by destroying their habitats. Therefore, they may become extinct because of man-made causes. We can save endangered animals by protecting their habitats. There are many organizations that protect animals and their habitats. For example, the World Wildlife Fund saves species, protects animals, rebuilds habitats in order to halt extinction in all endangered animals. The organization also teaches people the value of all creatures on the planet and how to protect endangered species around the local communities. In the text, it indicates organizations for protecting endangered animals. What I just read makes me think about the news I have heard recently. New knowledge I learned from the article about protecting endangered animals, which reminds me about the news I heard recently. Our schemas are constantly changing and growing when we learn new things. The article I just read about endangered animals reminds me of the news I heard. Jackson Bottom Wetlands Preserve provides an education center and holds monthly events to teach local residents how to protect wildlife around us. Let's connect the text you just read to another book. Using sentence starters helps you express your ideas. I can say the article relates to the news I have watched recently because both the World Wildlife Fund and Jackson Bottom Wetlands Preserve are organizations for protecting species and inspiring people for learning wildlife. This is the new knowledge I learned from the article about protecting endangered animals. This is the next non-fiction article about a bipedal robot. This is another example that shows how I am connecting between the text and the event which may happen in the future around the world. Casey, a bipedal robot, completed 100 meters on the track in 24.73 seconds, which achieves Guinness World Record in a 100-meter dash. This achievement is significant because it allows robots to move freely around human environments. It's also a remarkable accomplishment to use machine learning to control the robot's running gait. The text highlighted in green that says, "New knowledge I learned from the article about a bipedal robot reminds me of what I heard on the news." When we learn new things, our schemas are constantly changing and growing. In the text, I learned about a two-legged running robot runs in 20.73 seconds with no falls. What I just read made me think about the news I have heard recently. According to the news, in the future, scientists think it is possible to create a robot soccer team. All robot players must function on their own. With the new knowledge I learned from the article about a bipedal robot, I can say the article about a bipedal robot makes me remember the news I have watched recently. I think the bipedal robots may play soccer like real soccer players one day. We will see a robot soccer team in the not very distant future. An example of making connections is the fiction book Stay by Bobby Pyron. I am connecting the text to an event in the past, present, and future around the world. In the book Stay by Bobby Pyron, Piper and her family leave their home and move to a family shelter. Piper loses what she had before, including her own room, her school life, and friends. Piper also feels embarrassed about being labeled as a homeless kid. Even if Piper struggles with her life, she still feels hopeful and thankful because the family shelter provides a secured place and hot food for them. The workers there also help Piper's dad find a job. In the text, Piper and her family live in the shelter because of lack of affordable housing. Homelessness is an important issue around the world. With the new knowledge I learned from the book, I can say the story makes me think of the homelessness issue across the country. I have a strong connection to the text. Due to COVID-19, many people experience homelessness because they lose jobs and are unable to afford housing. When I am reading a book, I am connecting the text to my life experiences, the text to the books that I've read, and the text to an event in the past, present, and future around the world. When you are reading a book, you should always remember to compare the similarities and contrast the differences. This helps us understand the connections better. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe, follow the Instagram, and like this video.